Welcome to the 19th episode of Nerdom and Other Nonsense Podcast, your home for all things nerdom, gaming, tech, and entertainment. You can easily find our podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play Music. Also be sure to follow us on Twitter to get latest updates and info at Nerdom and Other. Today, we'll be talking about the games we played this week and some current news, but our main topic of discussion is going to be the reveal of gameplay and details on Destiny 2. Much hype. I'm Leo, and with me today, I have...
Oh, sorry, that was me banging my head against the table. I'm Savage.
Witch head. I'm BCom.
Oh, God.
I thought you were being assaulted again in your own home.
Oh, well, you never know in my neighborhood.
Some old lady beating you down with her cane. That's how I imagine. But anyways, how's your week going, Savage?
Not too bad. Been pretty busy just with everything else besides gaming, so... Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually did anything productive, but it just feels like I've been like super busy with stuff. So, I mean, I'm taking a new position here in 2 weeks, so it's kind of making sure I have all my odds and ends tied together before I make the transition. So,
damn, congrats, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Speaking of production, being productive, BCom, how's that bathroom of yours? I haven't heard an update for a while.
Oh, it's coming along. Like mentally,
is the fungus talking to you yet?
No. So there's been construction right outside the window of my apartment, and there's like right outside the bathroom window. There's like a little ledge where you could like stand, and they're like doing some kind of. They're replacing the siding or fixing the gutters. I don't even know what they're doing. But I have to have the shades closed because if they could actually look in at my bathroom right now, it would be a fucking disaster. They'd probably throw me out. They just evict me instantly. So, yeah, it's coming along. Like one of these days I'll eventually get to it.
So what you're saying is the construction is in no way related to the bathroom, even though it probably should be.
Yeah, and the neighbors are like complaining like, oh, we've had this really weird smell. It must be something in the gutters or the roof. And they're probably like replacing everything, and it's just like my bathroom. And it's just like infecting the entire apartment complex. Like the aliens from Alien are just, it's like face huggers are now growing in the walls.
Ooh, you need to take care of that, man. This movie's never end well.
But that's how my week's been going. I just would like to say that I totally can identify with Savage when he says that I can't remember the last time I did something productive, but I also feel really busy.
Well, that's not entirely true because I saw yesterday in our Discord chat that you spent, all of your life yesterday creating a phone theme for your phone.
I'm so glad you brought this up. So I was on Twitter or something. I think I came across somebody posted that they had put a Persona 5 theme on their phone. And I was like, I need this in my life. So I went and found the video. It's by some guy named like Shrine Fox or something. You can find it on YouTube. It's like Persona 5 Android theme. And basically it's this like long convoluted process where you download a program called KLWP, which allows you to make live wallpapers. And then you download a separate Android launcher called Nova Launcher. And then from the guy's YouTube video, there's links to the other stuff you need to download, which is like different custom themes built inside KLWP. And then there's steps and a separate video on customization and setting it all up. But forget all that. The end result is it makes your phone look amazing because it looks exactly like Persona 5. It has like the calendar date up on the top left once you figure out how to add that in. It has like days left until the next appointment on your calendar or whatever. And then like unread messages and stuff. And then you can, as you swipe left and right on pages, you can set it up so it can have like your 3 like waifus from the game. So I have like Makoto, Futaba, and Becky, who I love, right now. But you can change it between like 20 different characters. Like you can change it all the time. It's a pretty easy process to do. So holy crap, it's so good. And then I made sure I had my Persona 5 like soundtrack on my Google Play Music. So now I have that like running and it looks amazing. It's so good.
That's so nerdy, but that's what we are.
It's literally the best thing. So what have you guys been playing this week?
Me, very little. Still playing Fire Emblem Heroes.
See, every week you say Fire Emblem, and I hope that you'll just say like Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, like the new 3DS game, but it's always Fire Emblem Heroes.
I would have to buy a 3DS. And I have literally not played anything else because I've spent all my gaming time just watching YouTube videos about Destiny 2 instead. I have a problem.
I can totally identify with that. I've spent many hours watching Destiny stuff in preparation for this podcast, and also just because I'm super hyped about it. So.
Yeah, same here. Savage, have you been playing more than I have?
Some League of Legends and some Plant Simulator.
What's Plant Simulator?
You go outside in your yard, you dig up some old plants, and you put down new ones.
This Plant Simulator has a lot of microtransactions, right? Like every season you have to invest in new plant DLC, or else like they just die off. Like they're limited time plants typically. I mean, some
come
plants
back, I think.
last. Yeah, some are generational plants DLCs, I guess, but
Well, there's actually a feature in the game that if you return home and visit your like relatives every so often, you get like free gifts of plants to plant in your garden.
Nice.
So it actually isn't like super microtransaction-y because I only play whenever a free gift is available. So
are there different levels of plants? Like, are there like exotic plants and then legendary plants and then rare and common plants?
I mean, there is that, but I typically stay away from it. I pretty much just go with like what works. That you have to worry about shade versus sun and worrying about your flowers and crap dying.
Oh, so what you're saying is there's a light system, and like you have to level up your light. You get more power for plants.
Yes, but there's also a like cool mini game called Lumberjack where you have to chop a tree down that's trying to grow in under your garage. It's a fun one.
God, you guys should see me shaking my head right now. Becom, what have you been playing this week?
I played a lot of little games this week. So first of all, on Xbox, Phantom Dust came out as a free game, which is a remaster of the old Phantom Dust from like the original Xbox, I believe, which I never played back in the day. So since it's free and you can't beat free, downloaded it and tried it out. And it's a pretty interesting game. I'd say like the thing that stands out most about it is the crazy character designs, like just like 50s greaser characters like all over the place, and then like dudes with like dreads and just really cool like style in this game. It's kind of unique looking, maybe a little bit like Jet Set Radio or something like that. But then the mechanics of the game are basically you're kind of like a dude who has powers, and you like go into different levels and you collect orbs which have different abilities that you can then use in that specific level. So you have like orbs that can like fire fireballs, or you can have orbs that are defensive orbs that like you can then use to make barriers, or orbs that you can use to boost your own abilities, or like use them against an enemy to stop their abilities, to suppress their abilities. It's pretty fun. It's like definitely a game that seemed to be a little bit ahead of its time. But it's definitely got limitations in that it doesn't feel very connected. You kind of just jump from mission to mission with no interconnecting story whatsoever. And in that sense, it doesn't feel like a full experience in a lot of ways. I think as you get further into the game, it may open up a little bit more. But I played a couple hours of it and had fun with it. But yeah, I can see why it's a free game and they're not charging anything for it. Because I think if they actually tried to charge money for it, people will be a little upset. So, but also on Xbox, they had a big backwards compatibility sale last week. So I looked at that and found a bunch of 360 games and went back and looked at reviews for those games that were like a lot of Xbox Live Arcade games to see if they were good versions of different stuff that I hadn't played. So a couple that I put a lot of time into were Ikaruga, which is like kind of legendary bullet hell game. And holy shit, is that game hard. Like, I have still not beaten the first boss. Wait, did I beat the first boss eventually? No, I don't think I did. I think I tried like 6 times and could not beat the first boss because I suck at bullet hell games. Like, there's just one stage of that boss where he fires like a billion fireballs at you. And if you don't have like 3 lives at that point of the stage, you're just gonna die at least 3 times and just wipe. So yeah, it's really fun, but I suck at it. Another game that I totally suck at that I have never played, and I've heard that the Xbox version is pretty good, is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So I started playing that. I also got my ass handed to me by like a couple of like early bosses. So what I'm finding in these games is that I totally suck at them. But I mean, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is an amazing looking game. The sprite work is so fantastic. The music is so great. The dialogue between the characters is legendarily not great, and that's kind of funny. But yeah, it just feels so good to play. It's so snappy and responsive, and I can see why it's such a legendary game. I'm going to keep playing that for sure. And then another one that I hadn't played for a long time was NBA Jam On Fire Edition.
What system was that on originally?
So this came out as an Xbox 360 our live arcade game, but NBA Jam originally, the first time
it's
Nintendo?
64, right? Yeah, it was on 64.
It was probably on Super Nintendo too.
I felt like Super Nintendo, but I never played them, so I can't.
I don't know. I'm not that old.
I don't know if there was an NES one. I can't remember. Definitely Super Nintendo though. But yeah, I played a lot of that back in the day, like NBA Jam, like I think Tournament Edition or something like that. But yeah, this one I had never played. It's sort of like an updated edition of NBA Jam, and it's pretty fun. And it's got like players from like the early 2000s. So I'm playing with like the Knicks, and they still suck, but you can pretend they don't suck in this game. So that's, yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. I bought a couple extra games, but I haven't gotten to them yet. So I bought like 6 games in that sale for like $15 in total, something like that. And then one other game that I got turned on to by a friend that I went to Japan with is called The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. And what this is another one of those full motion video games where you play a psychiatrist that is taking over for the patients of another psychiatrist who has been recently murdered. And all of your patients are complete nut jobs. And like you have 2 goals. Like you want to like help the patients, but then you also want to figure out the mystery of how the doctor got murdered. And so the way you play the game is you just type questions. You just type like text questions in, and if you like use the right keywords or use the right phrases, they will respond to you and give you more hints about like what's going on with them and what's going on with the doctor's death. And so you just have to like keep asking questions until you find out what's going on. The first girl that you interview in the game is named Mariana, and she is this super ridiculously hot redhead. And her problem is that she keeps blacking out on the beach and waking up completely naked. So you have to like figure out what's going on.
I've been to lots of those parties.
Yeah. So that was a great way to start off the game. I'll just say that. She's pretty fun. But that's about it. That's mostly what I've been playing this week. So let's get right into it. First of all, we're going to move into our news section. I just want to say we have a major sequel coming up that was revealed this week to one of our favorite games of all time. And it is the topic of discussion today. Life is Strange 2, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
I don't even know what the first one was about.
Life is Strange is the game that puts all Telltale games to shame by being better at literally everything it does than any of the Telltale games since maybe the first Walking Dead, and I'd argue it's a better game than that. It's a game where you play as a like nerdy, like twee girl from like Seattle who is at art school, and she gains a power where she's able to turn back time mysteriously, rewind time, and like choose different like responses to people's questions or choose different actions. And the problem is that her best friend keeps getting into positions where she is going to die, and she you're able to like keep her from dying basically throughout the game, and by making like decisions and finding out like the mystery of the town, and also like there's a mysterious villain who keeps doing things that are not good. So it ends in a way where it would make sense for them not to choose these two characters anymore and follow their story. Like, so I'm kind of hoping that Life is Strange 2 is like the second game in an anthology series where it's about completely different characters in a completely different setting. I think that would be the best way to go, because there's two endings basically to the first game, and they're both very definitive endings that you can't really continue on from. Like, if you were going to continue, you would have to disrespect at least one of those choices. You could only follow one of those paths if you were going to stay with those two characters. So I think it makes a lot more sense to just move on, respect the choices of the people that played the first game, and just set the game in a completely new setting. But we'll see if that's what they actually do. But I would just like to say that I was actually equally hyped about this announcement as I was about the Destiny 2 announcement, because I really love Life is Strange. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played.
I couldn't tell.
Indeed. Next on news docket, very exciting. There's a new tennis game being made.
I honestly saw this on here and was like, why is this on here?
So I love tennis games, like dating back to.
So
like,
is today's news just all the games you love that said something this week?
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Oh, Jesus.
So like Sega Dreamcast had Virtua Tennis, and it was amazing. And they've made a bunch of Virtua Tennis games since then, but none of them have been really as good as the first one, in my opinion. I also like really loved playing Mario Tennis for N64. I'm like just a big fan of tennis and tennis games in general. So they've announced that Tennis World Tour is coming out in 2018 for consoles and PC, and it's from the team that made the Top Spin games, like Top Spin 4.
I played Mario Tennis. That was fun.
It was really good. Yeah,
I liked playing as Boo.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you liked Boo. Waluigi is best boy, best tennis
All right,
player.
whatever.
So, yeah, it's going to feature like 30 professional tennis stars like Roger Federer and stuff. And there's going to be more news about it at Gamescom 2017. I'm just hoping that it is a fun game like Virtua Tennis, where it has like a good feeling, like, you know, match mode and like a good career mode and stuff. But then it also has like fun challenge modes, like where you have to hit targets and all that stuff and get lots of points. Like, that's the stuff I really loved from Virtua Tennis too. So, yeah. I mean, I just like to see another tennis game, because it's been a while since we had the last one that I actually really enjoyed playing. So hopefully they nail it with this one. So, next item of news. Did you guys see the Far Cry 5 teaser trailer?
I've never even played any of the Far Cries.
So the only reason I've ever played a Far Cry is because of CryEngine, because I love Crytek. This one actually looks interesting.
It does to me too. From the teaser, you can tell it's going to be set in Hope County, Montana, in the United States.
Yeehaw!
I was getting ready to say it looks pretty, but this is real life stuff right now.
No, that's in Engine, I think.
Yeah, that's an engine.
Yeah.
Oh, the dude running
photo that
from
we're
down the
looking
field.
at on our thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's I think that's CGI actually. Like it's a CGI cutscene.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really good though. I mean, so the teaser trailer shows like a wide open field, and then it zooms in on a church, and in the steeple of the church, like some guy is slamming another guy's head against the church bell to ring it. So it looks like the focus this time around, especially with some of the key art that's come about, is going to be on some religious nut jobs in the middle of Montana who are freaking nuts, and you're going to probably be going like a killing spree against them, which sounds really fun to me. I like that it's set in the United States. I mean, it's been the last few Far Cry games have been set in all these like exotic places, and have kind of had like a lot of murdering like African people or murdering like other like races of people. So I think it's about time we murder a bunch of white people in a Far Cry game.
Bunch of white hillbilly rednecks. That's what it looks like.
In a couple days, May 26th, there's going to be a reveal, probably live stream, with a lot more details on the game. So I'll be looking out for that.
All right. How about Red Dead Redemption 2 is being delayed until spring 2018? And that obviously goes for both systems.
Yeah.
You guys are big fans of the first one. I never really got the chance to play it, but I'm looking at some of these screenshots with this article, and it looks really good.
I did not play the first one, but I watched the first one. Mm-hmm. So I've watched it as a movie, but I'm looking forward to actually playing the second one.
I think I've told this story before, but the first time I played the original game, I played like an hour and a half and just wasn't into it, and then dropped it for like a year. And then I came back to it eventually after like hearing so many good things about it, and played it straight through in like 3 or 4 days and just loved it so much. Like once you get past like into the middle and the end parts of that game, it's such an interesting campaign. I would say like the best campaign in any Rockstar game. And yeah, from what I've seen of just like the teaser trailer and like the artwork that's come out for Red Dead Redemption 2, it looks totally gorgeous. I envision myself spending a lot of hours in this game just exploring like the vast expanse of the world, riding around on my horse, getting into trouble. Like some of the most fun stuff in Red Dead Redemption 1 was just riding around and just like stumbling upon like random events and encounters that were just dynamic throughout the world. So I'm sure they'll still have a lot of that. But yeah, the fact that it's delayed is no real news because Rockstar has delayed like every one of their games like in the last like 10 years. Like every single one. Like I think somebody listed out on Reddit, just like every game that they've made recently has been delayed at least a few months, if not a few years. So we probably could have expected this to happen.
I get a few months, but like to do almost like a full year is like insane to me.
Yeah.
How can somebody keep miscalculating that bad so many times?
I would rather them take the extra year and make sure it's perfect.
Oh, me too.
Than have like the Mass Effect Andromeda problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that too, but like this is an ongoing thing for the production company, so it's just interesting.
Yeah, you would think at a certain point they would kind of try to figure out exactly when, like what, I don't know. I mean, the final answer is that game development is super hard, and it's super hard to predict what problems you'll run into. So, yeah. But like Savage says, like I think some major game developer has said this in the past. Like maybe it was like Shigeru Miyamoto or something. Like a delayed game is never a bad thing. A rushed game is always bad. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, and it also could say to the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 is so highly anticipated that it's like, if they mess this up, it could kill the franchise.
Yeah,
it's true. It's definitely true.
I mean, think about Mass Effect Andromeda. It killed the franchise, considering what BioWare said, we're not making another Mass Effect for a while.
Yep.
So
pretty sad, actually.
Well, actually, there's a very long pause between Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda.
Yeah,
so.
Mass Effect
there was
3
a long
already
pause.
killed it a little bit, and then Andromeda like sunk the battleship. Basically,
people were just like unhappy with the ending, and then like how your actions didn't actually change the end all that much. You literally could have just saved at the very end and then picked one of the 3 options and got all 3 endings.
Yep.
Yeah, but now it's to the point where BioWare was like, no, we would rather work on starting a whole new IP than ever go back to that. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Mass Effect made you a lot of money. So did BioShock. You did really well with BioShock. Not so great with Mass Effect, so.
Indeed. Also, when you have the Star Wars IP or your parent company EA owns it, you should make fucking Star Wars games, BioWare. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god, can you imagine a BioWare Star Wars game?
Well, they exist, all the KOTOR games, and like the Old Republic is BioWare.
No, but like a modern one.
Exactly. I imagine it every day, and they don't make it.
It never crossed my mind till today. Oh, I want that bad.
Oh, man, I really want that.
Can we kick DICE off of Battlefront 2 at this point and just let BioWare finish it?
Hey, let's see what DICE gives us with Battlefront 2, because it's actually looking pretty decent for now. I'm prepared to be disappointed, but at least I'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time around.
DICE is the new Infinity Ward.
Let's move on to another of our favorite game development companies. Valve has hired a portion of the former Kerbal Space Program development team. And since Valve has hired them, I assume they will never make another game now. Because Valve doesn't make games. Not anymore. They just keep patching Dota 2. That's all they do. That's all Valve does.
If it makes them money, why not?
In all reality, like, Valve has said that they will shortly have an announcement on what those guys are working on. And there had been some layoffs and some people leaving en masse the Kerbal Space Program development studio, complaining about working conditions and I think not being paid on time and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe Valve is going to pick up those pieces and make another space sim type game. That would be great. Kerbal Space Program is a pretty awesome game, all things considered. So I'd like to see more stuff along those lines. Moving on, Overwatch is having an anniversary event. And this involves new skins, new emotes, some of which are amazing. There's some new dancing emotes.
Is that the one with the Haru Suzumi or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Who is it? It's I think it's May does the Haruhi dance in her dancing emote. And then Sombra does one that's like a shuffle, but it looks to me like the one from that Perfume music video. I think it's called like Nay or something. I forget the name of the song, but it's just like a really awesome looking dance. And there's a bunch of other really good emotes. Overwatch is amazing at that stuff. They're adding like 3 new maps for like the 3v3 elimination mode in the arcade. And also, if you want to play the game, you haven't played it, there is a free weekend from May 26th to the 29th. So now is a good time to jump in on either console or PC.
Do you own it, Leo?
No.
We should definitely play that weekend.
Yeah, I have it on PC or Xbox. You guys let me know. It's super
Overwatch?
fun.
I have it on Xbox. I'll definitely play it.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, B.
Come on, Leo. You know you want to.
I don't know. What day are we talking about here?
Well, the 29th is what? The observed Memorial Day. So I'm off work that day.
That would be a good day to play. Yeah, Monday to the 29th.
I'm supposed to be day drinking at a friend's house.
Day drinking?
You? Okay, Savage, back me up here. You know my group of friends, right?
For the most part.
Why do you, why is there a term for it though? It's just day drinking. It's like, oh yeah, we're having drinks during the day. I don't call it day drinking.
Yeah, going to a friend's house. We're going to be day drinking. We're going to. It was the term she used. Playing a bunch of games, just having a good time.
That sounds fun.
Well, I mean, potheads have wake and bake. Why can't Leo and his friends have day drink?
Fine. Equal opportunity for all of our vices. All right. So next item on the news docket. HTC is making a new standalone Vive VR headset.
Yes, and I share my concerns that you have with this also.
Yeah, it's going to be based on Google's Daydream VR system, and so it's standalone. It doesn't have to be hooked up to a PC or a console or anything. It has all of the stuff built into the headset, so you would obviously assume it's going to be a much less powerful VR headset. And as an owner of the actual Vive that you hook up to a powerful PC, I'm a little bit worried about that, because it might mean that they're shifting their focus towards like portable VR stuff rather than like high intensive graphical resolution VR, which is what I'm actually interested in. What about you, Leo?
Just basically exactly what you said. I don't want to put it on and it be like subpar. I want, like the best experience I can possibly get from a VR simulator. So
do you think this has to maybe do with Vive hitting their bottom line as far as like PlayStation VR obviously is the best selling VR right now in the marketplace because A, it's affordable, and B, it's accessible with the best games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
So
you can also put the PlayStation VR on your computer too. And there's also a workaround to get it to work on the Xbox also, I believe. But then it's just a screen. It's not like moving your head around and it moves with it. It's just like a screen, so it's not actually a VR experience. Okay. So it's like the most versatile then also, I guess.
Yeah, that's true, for sure.
So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what comes of it. VR really hasn't picked up too much yet. I'm really waiting to see some like bigger games come out. Hopefully E3 will have more news on VR games. We'll see. Otherwise, I mean, if there's not a big focus on VR at E3, man, I'm worried about the future of VR in general, because they need more people to buy VR headsets for it to be popular.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that yet, but you are right. There needs to be a big fanfare about that at E3.
Moving on, another small item of news, which might not be small to some people, is that Battlefield 1, in their upcoming DLC called the Name of the Tsar expansion, is adding female Russian soldiers based on actual female units that fought for Russia in World War I. So this, I think, marks the first time that any Battlefield game has had female soldiers, at least playable. I'm pretty sure. So that's like a good forward move for Battlefield. You guys
on Battlefield 1, is there any more Battlefields?
Yeah, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3.
Why are they doing it on Battlefield 1?
Because Battlefield 1 is the newest game, Leo.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. They
don't go in numerical order?
This is why I hate the stupid naming systems. God, I hate it so much because it causes all this stupid confusion for no point. Yeah.
Okay, so what in order are they going in?
So it's literally like Battlefield 1942, right? And then Battlefield 2. Wait, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Then Battlefield 2133. Then Battlefield 3. Then Battlefield Bad Company. Then Battlefield Bad Company 2. I don't know. Battlefield 4. And now Battlefield 1, which is called 1 because it's World War 1.
I was getting ready to say, please justify this first, but man, yeah, that's super confusing at a glance.
It's pretty stupid.
As I just did. I was like, why are they doing it on the first game out of the series?
That'd be really funny. It's like, yeah, we're patching Battlefield 1 from like 1997 or something.
It's like they're patching Halo Combat Evolved to make a female version of Master
Spartan.
Chief.
Oh my god, if they came out and announced that at E3, I'd be so hype, actually. It'd be like, play Halo with Sarah Palmer. It's like, oh yeah. That'd be actually really
well,
funny.
actually, speaking of Halo news at E3, they've already announced that Halo 6 will not be at E3.
And I think they also mentioned that Halo 3 Remastered is not going to be at E3 either. I think I heard somebody say that.
Not only did they say it won't be at E3, they said it's not happening.
Yeah. So,
which is sad for me, but
I guess Halo 5 killed the franchise. No, just joking.
I swear to God, I would be pissed.
Oh yeah, I'd be pissed too. I don't want that, obviously.
Oh,
Halo
I definitely
Wars
want to
2
see
killed the
another
franchise.
really good Halo come out. Believe me.
Yeah, I want them to be done after 6, but I want 6 to be the best one I've ever played.
I would.
I could live happily with that.
So yeah, just in general, I think it's cool that they're adding female soldiers. I think it's always cool to have parity between men and women in video games. So I'm excited to see that, and I hope that female Russian soldier kicks fucking ass in that game. That'd be really cool. So,
female Russian soldiers makes me think of Balaka from Black Lagoon.
From Black Lagoon.
Yeah, however you want to say her name. She's like my favorite female character in that show. And the manga just restarted too. I read the latest chapter.
Sweet.
So happy. Anyways, yeah, that's for another podcast.
Oh yeah. Final bit of news. Counter-Strike Go is kicking off an event called Operation Hydra. That's going to run for like the next 18 weeks. And it's bringing back some wacky and fan favorite game modes, basically. One of them that stood out to me is called the Flying Scoutsman, which is a low gravity mode where you literally just have a sniper rifle and a knife. and that's it. Other stuff is like heavy assault suit, where you have like bomb defusal, but you have the option of purchasing a huge suit of armor. Headshots only, which is deathmatch, but only headshots do any damage. Hunter Gatherers is kind of like a kill confirm mode, where you drop a dog tag when you die and you gotta collect them or die trying. Stab Stab Zap is a game mode where you have a knife and a taser and that's all you have. Like I just like that they're bringing back these like stupid little game modes, because they're really fun, and I like the fun game modes of Counter-Strike Go more than I like the competitive side of it, honestly.
I was going to say, I know it's not just me, but people are hoping Destiny 2 allows customized multiplayers like this.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, they've said, I don't think there's going to be private matches for Destiny 2 at launch, at least.
No, not at launch.
Which is too bad.
It'll probably come out. I'm assuming, I think most speculation is, since PC's coming out later, it'll come out with the PC at the same time.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense because they want to deliver like the full game with the PC launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the ability to do custom matches like you used to in Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, like games that allow that just add another level to their multiplayer. So like Forge, when it came out in Halo 3, was huge. Still my favorite feature in the game.
Just even stupid stuff like unlimited heavy ammo and low gravity. just things like that are just like fun to fool around with.
Or making it purely shotties and snipers, or me and my brothers all played on a server called Red Recruiting for the PC version of Halo 1, where it was pistols and snipers, no shields.
That sounds fun.
That sounds pretty
amazing.
All right, you guys, you want to do some quick movie and television news section?
Sure, why don't you kick it off?
All right. I want to start with a television series I love, and I watched all of Once Upon a Time up to like season 6, I think. I stopped. I haven't watched it because I got all caught up, and it was where they're going to hell. I haven't seen anything past that. I know it's done and out, and I really need to watch it, but I really like that show. I think Rumpelstiltskin's probably one of my favorite characters.
Wait, which show is this? Sorry, I missed the name.
Once Upon a Time.
Oh, I watched like the first season of that. That was pretty interesting.
I really like it. It's like everything. It has its problems, but it's still like how I try to sell Busou Shoujo Machiavellianism to you. It's like just turn your brain off and just enjoy it for the fun, the goofiness, and bring up all these other characters. And I mean, always remember everything comes with a price, dearie.
And yeah,
but anyways,
agree that Rumpelstiltskin was probably my favorite character on that show.
Yeah, his voice is great, and I am so surprised I can actually do a decent version of it. So it's really fun there's somebody at work I talk with, and like I sneak up behind him and start talking to him like that, and every time they're like, "Stop doing that! You give me goosebumps." But anyways, I went to the movie this weekend, and I watched Alien Covenant. Last episode, you found out I'm a big fan of this franchise. I really did like this problem. I really did like this movie. Yes, it had its problems, but everything I watch and do and consume entertainment-wise has problems. But I really think it was really good overall. I was saddened by the CGI use instead of props. It was apparent to me, but there's a lot of things they did that like they couldn't have gotten away with props, probably. They would have totally like reshoot the scenes. I'm not going to say it, but they did really stick to their roots, because the Alien franchise is known for all its sexual innuendos and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Like there's a couple shots of the other side of the facehugger that definitely looks like a big old vagina.
Oh, I thought it was really interesting you mentioned that, because after I watched Aliens last week, I listened to a little bit of the like commentary track, and when they have that first facehugger reveal, when it sticks its like vagina thing against like the window of the thing that it's in, it's really interesting. Like they talked about how like James Cameron wanted it to look like a sexual thing, so it would be even more unsettling. Like the way
even the xenomorphs are meant to look kind of phallic slightly, and the whole series is about that. And then once you actually kind of look into it, you start seeing it. And there's like this one scene. I'm not going to spoil this, but there's just a scene with Walter, and you totally get vibes, blowjobs, and self masturbation. Like it's way hype in there. And then Covenant also like reinforces the sex thing because like everybody's a couple and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if you enjoy the Alien series, I definitely recommend watching it, or even just sci-fi stuff. Definitely watch it.
Okay.
It just an interesting note. I took Friday off, so I went at like a 1:30 showing, and and when I went in there, I was surprised by all the people watching it. There was nothing but old couples in there.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably fans of the series. They remember it from their younger years, but the thing was, they were all old couples. Maybe one or two of them was like a brother and sister or something, but they looked like old couples to me. And I just thought that was an interesting demographic.
Yeah, the original came out in like 1979 or something. So, I mean, there are probably some real old Alien fans out there. So that's funny. Makes sense, though.
Yeah, and also there was like this horrendous torrential downpour while we were in there that like came and went, and it was so bad we could hear it inside the theater.
Holy crap, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was raining that hard, and like I thought I was just hearing it myself because I was a bunch of the old people, probably had bad hearing. No, there was plenty of old people looking up at the ceiling too, like what the heck. But it's so funny because there's lots of rain scenes in the movie, and they kept occurring during the rain scenes. It was like super realism. I don't know. I was just sitting there in awe, and like I'm like, the weather's like working with this movie right now.
Oh man.
But that's all I gotta say about that. What do you got, BCom?
So I spent a lot of this weekend and this week binge watching through the first season and the first 10 episodes of the second season of Twin Peaks. Because Twin Peaks has just started a third season on Showtime in the US. And I think it's aired like the first 2 episodes. And so I'd watched the first season of Twin Peaks a long while back. And then I remember watching like the first 3 episodes of season 2 and being like, I'm not so interested in this anymore. But this time around, I decided that I wanted to just like push my way through. And so I'm basically halfway through the second season. And so I'll get through that and then the rest of the week and catch up. But I have a lot of thoughts on Twin Peaks. The first season is probably one of my favorite seasons of television ever. It just really transports you into this small town with all of this incredible cast of weird, quirky characters. And there's this amazing like detective mystery. But then like all of the characters are so interesting and so suspicious that you kind of suspect almost everybody a little bit. So you don't have any idea where it's going. But the key to the first season, and it's very grounded while having like little tidbits of supernatural elements here and there. When it jumps into the second season, it just takes off with the supernatural stuff to a point where I think if you go back and look at viewership numbers, it lost a lot of people, like almost instantly in season 2, and then definitely by halfway point. There was also a lot of problems with the production of season 2. Like David Lynch wasn't as closely like linked with the production anymore. They want like the studio or whoever was producing it, TV station, whatever, they wanted like more episodes. So they ordered like twice as many episodes the first season. I think actually even more than that. And so it feels like a story that's like butter spread over too much bread at a certain point. Whereas the first season was this tight, extremely well written experience. And in a lot of ways, I feel like it's a parallel to the series Lost, where like with the first 3 seasons of Lost, there were definitely supernatural elements to that show, but everything also felt grounded in reality at the same time. And then as you got into the later seasons, it just went crazy with the supernatural stuff to where it couldn't be grounded at all anymore. And when things become less grounded in reality, it's harder to identify with them because you can't imagine it actually happening to anyone or to yourself. It's the same thing with Twin Peaks.
I was going to say with Lost, I think I only watched the first 3 seasons and I totally lost interest in it.
Yeah. I mean, the first 3 seasons are freaking great. And then it starts going off the rails. And that's how I feel about Twin Peaks Season 2. Like, almost immediately in Season 2, I felt it started going off the rails and just becoming something that I was not as interested in at all. But I'm still sticking through it because there's certain characters who I still really enjoy seeing their arcs play out. But at a certain point in Season 2, it's like everybody has some kind of supernatural ability or aspect to their character. And it's like, this doesn't feel like that small town in the Northwest that was really interesting because of just the way that they interacted with each other as humans, not because of all this other crap surrounding it now and like different dream worlds and all that stuff. So yeah, I can see why that split a lot of people. But yeah, I plan to finish watching Season 2, watch the movie Fire Walk with Me, and then pick up with Season 3. So I'm excited to do that. I'll report back on how I felt about it.
So, Savage, you got anything you want to talk about movie or television wise?
Yeah, something that kind of affects a lot of people that like movies, specifically DC movies.
Wait,
did you
there's
guys
people who
hear
like
about...
those?
Yeah,
There
exactly.
used to be, once upon a time.
Did you hear about Zack Snyder not being, or not?
Oh, he
He's
had like a
taking a
family
step back-
emergency.
Well, it's not an emergency, really. He's just taking a step back, and Joss Whedon is stepping in and finishing directing the Justice League movie.
Wait, hold on. I think didn't he lose like his child or something? Didn't his child?
Yeah, his oldest daughter killed her, or youngest daughter. One of his daughters killed themselves.
Yeah.
So him and his wife, who are the producers on the movie, decided to take a step back and spend more time with family. So he just passed it off.
Yeah.
Which I think is a totally good reason on his part.
Yeah, God.
I mean, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, it incredibly sad. So we'll see how the movie goes now, because I know it's currently in post-production, but I know they have some reshoots they have to do. So
yeah, my heart goes out to Zack Snyder and his family. I mean, he gets a ton of shit, but like I still think he makes some of the most visually interesting movies that we have, and I think he loves comics and he tries his best. All that being said, it is probably going to be interesting to see this movie directed by Joss Whedon instead of Zack Snyder. I think if the situation wasn't so tragic, a lot of people would be really happy about this. But I mean, because it's so tragic, it's really bittersweet to see Joss Whedon stepping in. I hope the movie is good, though. I mean, like, I would like to see a good Justice League movie. I mean, that would be nice, but you know.
Yeah,
I'm keeping my hopes pretty low.
Yeah, me too.
I just and that's just from watching the last couple of movies. But is that everything everybody has to say?
I think so. Is there one other thing that we
God.
wanted to talk about today? I can't remember.
Oh,
no, I think we should end the podcast now.
Yeah, me too. I don't think there's really anything.
wait,
else
there was our main topic. I'm starting to remember.
Yeah, Life is Strange 2.
Now, it does have something to do with the number 2, but it's like it's my destiny to remember this. Oh, Destiny 2!
Oh, thank
Reveal
you.
gameplay
God.
trailer.
I feel
So amazing.
embarrassed.
But first, let's talk about how much time each of us has invested in Destiny, so you understand kind of where we're coming from and how much we like this series. Maybe two of us.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'll start off with mine. I have played 1,278 hours on Xbox One. And I am just curious how many of those hours were spent in orbit. Probably 500 of them.
I assume at least like 300 of those hours are in orbit. Like, seriously. Yeah, I was looking into this too, and I played 1,160 hours on Xbox One and 56 hours on PS4.
I win! Yay!
You do win. And then Savage,
I've only played 487 hours.
which is still a lot.
Which it's still a lot, but it's not nearly as much. But to be fair, I didn't play it all in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I played like the first month, finished the campaign, and then never played again. Till like...
Okay, that's no excuse because I'm going to counteract you here in a second, but keep going.
But, well, yeah, he took it to a whole new level. But yeah, and then I just, after what, the most recent like thing to come out,
Taken King.
No, Rise of Iron or whatever.
Oh, Rise of Iron. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did some of the basic stuff and I was like, at this point, it's a 3-year-old game. I'm good. I'll just move on to something else.
It's all about having a bunch of people to play with. And if you have people who are always on, then that game really shines. But between the three of us, that gives us 2,981 hours of Destiny. But our friend Kyle, who didn't play at all year one, managed to play 2,822 hours of Destiny.
Good job, Kyle.
If we didn't put Savage's 400 hours in there, he would beat you and me combined. BCom.
That's insane.
That's literally. I just did the math on my phone. That's literally 1/3 of a year, nonstop, 24 hours a day for 1/3 of a year.
And he did that for 2 years.
That's incredible. That's so much Destiny. I can't blame him though.
No, it's a very great game, and and you know what's funny? I know he's played many hours on his daughter's account also. So he probably beats our total time.
He's probably
all three
well
combined.
over 3,000 hours then.
Yeah, and we're not throwing this out here to brag or anything. We're just saying we know what we're talking about when we talk about Destiny. We have invested this insane amount of time. We know it in and out very well. We can do all the raids, all the strikes. I can't speak for Savage, but I can speak for BCom and I.
Mm-hmm. So, Destiny 2 had a huge reveal event where Bungie had a huge live stream, and they revealed a whole bunch of stuff about the new game and the changes that they're making to the Destiny. And so we have a lot of thoughts on all of those changes. So
and can I just say their reveal was amazing. Oh my God.
Really good. I mean, I don't know how much of it is because I've spent so much time with this game and how much is it was because it was actually just a really good reveal of a video game. But I got emotional during this reveal. And actually, I want to start off there. So a lot of what they showed early were story cinematic cutscenes. And they definitely had a different tone than Destiny 1 cutscenes. First of all, it showed a lot of focus on Guardians protecting the humans who still live on Earth. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember at any point in Destiny seeing a single human in a cutscene that we were actually protecting still. Maybe they showed up occasionally, but it never really gave you the idea that we were protecting anyone because we're in this huge tower way above the city.
Maybe Amanda Holiday, but she's our ship person, so she's extremely important. She wasn't just some other bystander.
Also, she is bae.
Also, Amanda Holiday was a huge part of these flashback scenes because we got to see her as a little girl growing up on the tower with Commander Zavala.
And she's being awed by the flying ships, and then surprise turns out to be the main mechanic of them all. So that's really cool.
And then she gets that heroic part in the middle of the first mission or in the middle of the first cutscene, where there's a big Cabal and fleet invasion attacking the tower. And Holiday plays this huge role where she's flying through the air, kind of like Poe Dameron from the new Star Wars movies or something. She's a hotshot pilot, and she gets you and your team up onto the Cabal ship to attack them. And I'm like, holy shit, this is so cool because all these people who we've seen around the tower are finally coming to play a role in the story alongside of us. We're fighting with them. You might have missed this because if you weren't looking or if you didn't know about Destiny, one of people's favorite characters on the Destiny tower is the little robot that has a broom and sweeps stuff up. And then the first story mission that they showed, you run over to his part of the tower, and he's still sweeping there, and there's a bunch of dead Cabal all around him, and it just gives you the little hint that sweeper bot just murdered those Cabal.
Yeah, he took that broom and worked them over, and he's just so sweeping away afterwards.
He's like a secret ninja robot. I just loved that so much. It was so good.
It kind of made me think of from Borderlands, Claptrap.
Oh yeah. Definitely. It's a little bit of a similar face design.
And they fixed his whistle too.
Oh yeah.
Which was kind of a funny thing.
So what did you think about like the way that they presented the story of Destiny 2 so far?
You mean the fact that there might be a story this time?
That's definitely a big change.
No, I'm really glad to see it. This also ties into there's no Grimoire, which was the lore of the story.
Yes.
They're not going to put that in there because it's going to be part of the story, which it should have been in the first place. I can't imagine if the Grimoire was part of Destiny 1's storyline. Oh my god.
Yeah.
How insane would that have been?
So one thing I saw, they definitely confirmed that they're doing away with Grimoire cards. So any lore is going to be inside the game. I did see a screenshot that somebody took from the event that had a button on the bottom of the screen that said press like L2 for lore. So I think that lore is going to be built into the game. It's going to be tied to your items or maybe other things. I don't know. It's clearly not a final build, but if there is lore, it will be inside the game, which I think is what everybody actually wanted anyway. Because I would like to see a fleshed out story, but also have that like Dark Souls like lore that comes when you get new items. Like new exotic weapons have a specific lore to them, and you can read and you find out more about the story that way. It's kind of a mixing like the two best storytelling like systems that we have in modern gaming, like the Dark Souls story where you glean a little bit of information from each new item you get or you find, and then you have like the cinematic sweeping story that is in so many of our games like Uncharted and stuff and The Last of Us. Bring those two things together and I think you have something really special.
Yeah.
What they should do is borrow from Halo and do like the terminal type thing.
Yeah.
Where on each level, if you want more lore about that specific like level and kind of the backstory about that specific area, like there's a special terminal you can find. Hell, make it achievements to find all of them. But like, just find all of them and find your lore that way. Because that's one of the best parts of Halo is like searching around. You and me did that. Become of trying to find in Halo 5 all the like collectible stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to say before we really get into this is all just it's a pre-build, it's a alpha, and the beta will come up later. So anything can change. We haven't played it ourselves. It's just all off the material we've seen. So everything is speculation at this point.
For sure.
We're basically just addressing our concerns and things we like that we saw and stuff. So going into that, let's talk about the absolute biggest change we've seen so far is how the weapon slots now work. You want to take this, BCom?
Yeah. So in Destiny 1, you had 3 weapon slots. You had a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, and a heavy weapon. In the primary slot were things like hand cannons, scout rifles, assault rifles. What else am I forgetting? Anything?
No. There's just the 3.
Some rare things like snipers, like No Land Beyond, like exotics and stuff like that.
Just an exotic.
And some exotic shotguns, stuff like that. Some like loopholes. And the secondary weapons were sniper rifles, shotguns, and fusion rifles, with some other like rare exceptions. And then heavy weapons were light machine guns and rocket launchers and swords. So they're changing that up a lot in Destiny 2. The weapon slots are now going to be kinetic, which is like a primary style weapon that has no elemental burn. Then the second slot is called the energy slot, and that is again primary weapons that have an energy burn to them.
But they do a little less damage than the kinetic would.
It seems like that, yes.
No, that's what they said they would do. The kinetic will do more damage, but the energy is mainly for people with shields.
Okay.
Or weaknesses to them.
Right.
We may know yet.
And then the third slot is for power weapons, and they've moved sniper rifles, shotguns, and fusion rifles into this slot with rocket launchers, and they've also added grenade launchers and taking away light machine guns.
Swords are still in, though.
Also. Oh, yeah, swords as well. You're right. So I think this is going to drastically change the way the game is played. Let's see. I mean, so I think the biggest reason they did this is because the community has complained constantly about the Crucible, about the fact that people run around with shotguns and kill you instantly all the time.
Yes, PvP has since day one had a problem with secondary weapons, mainly either snipers or shotguns being just way OP'd. And they've done lots of things to fix them, and they've never really been able to fix them. So now, to basically solve that problem, they've removed them and moved them to heavy weapons. But then you're like, all right, well, what about ammo for them? Why would you ever pick a sniper over a rocket launcher? Well, they did that by balancing how much ammo you get. So if you have a rocket launcher equipped and you pick up the heavy weapon slot, which only spawns, when it spawns, only spawns for you, no matter whoever is around you,
right,
you would only get one rocket. So we're assuming, one rocket guaranteed kill for the most part. But if you're running a shotgun, sniper, or fusion, you would get 4 or 5 shots, 4 or 5 ammo. And those aren't necessarily guaranteed kills, but if you're good with them, you can probably get more kills with them easier. Like, I'm better with fusion rifles. So honestly, in the Crucible, I would run fusion rifle because I feel confident I would at least get 2 kills with them, if not the entire clip they give me. So it makes perfect sense for PvP. The issues I think I might have with it, and I haven't played the game, so I don't know. It may be perfect. I don't know. Is with PvE. I don't see a point in running a sniper or a shotgun or a fusion over a rocket launcher or possibly the grenade launcher at this point. Because
they'll have
heavy
to
ammo.
Build, I was going to say they'll have to build the encounters around this new system, which I assume they're doing.
Yeah. That, and as of Destiny 1, which I can only compare it to, would only be during raids where they're very specific. Otherwise, I don't think so. I don't see any other circumstances where I'm not running that rocket launcher. The only way I can counteract this is by saying that the shotguns have to just hit super hard. Like, I'm talking about, we're taking out knights, we're taking out wizards, we're taking out minotaurs in a single shot. Or if they're yellows, 2 shots. And the sniper rifle basically is going to have to hit like a truck. It's going to have to be basically a sleeper simulant. Otherwise, I don't see not running them. Because like if they have something especially like Ruin Wings where you get extra heavy ammo, always run rocket launcher.
Yeah,
always going to be way more advantageous.
There would have to be, like for sniper rifles, there would have to be a huge emphasis in that strike or mission or raid on precision, shots.
And I don't think the ammo distribution is enough to counteract it unless it's like almost doubled. Like instead of 5 rounds in PvP, you would get, 10 rounds. Then maybe, and I would have to experiment with it. But like I said, this is all speculation. We don't know. But this is, it's just the biggest change. This is going to completely change people's play style. So that right there, that one thing makes this the biggest change in Destiny 2 I see. And I'm slightly, I don't understand why nobody else is talking about this.
Yeah, I've heard very few people talk about it.
Yeah, you don't have to be opinionated about it. It's speculation at this point.
Yeah, it's a big change.
They just glance over it, and I'm like, I feel like this is important, or will be the most important thing ever. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, just think you can run now a scout rifle and a hand cannon at the same time, which you could do for a short period of time. Wasn't the last word originally a secondary weapon? A secondary exotic weapon? But
I don't think so. I played since year 1. I used the last word year 1. It was primary.
I don't know why I'm thinking that then. I wonder, I think it got moved quickly, but maybe at one point it was secondary. I'm not sure though.
I don't think so.
But so I think if you hated hand cannons before, you're going to hate them even more now, because I think people are always going to have a hand cannon. Unless SMGs, which they've added to the game, turn out to be really good.
SMGs
they could.
And the I forgot his stinking name. It's in the game now.
Sidearm?
The sidearm.
Yeah.
Those seem to play interestingly. So yeah, everybody's going to run a long range primary, either in their kinetic or energy slot, and then
short range, yeah,
or the other way around. they're going to go between. So they're going to. So I'm assuming most people are going to go with a hand cannon or SMG or sidearm, and their other weapon will be either scout
rifle, pulse,
or pulse.
Yeah, that just makes the most sense because then you have all of your bases covered in PvP.
Yeah, it gives you a very nice balance. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that plays out. What could one of the biggest problems with Destiny Year 1 was that the Gallarhorn rocket launcher was like the must-have weapon because it just did the most damage. If there is an exotic or even a legendary weapon like that in your power slot, it could make you have like extremely limited weapon variety. Because if you feel like you always have to use like this one gun, then you might never see sniper rifles or shotguns.
I'm also concerned how many different weapon types are in heavy.
Yeah, there's so many. Like
I feel like it's too many to choose from.
If there is any one thing that I think will change about Destiny 2 by the time like Year 2 rolls around, it is this. Like I think like they may roll this back and we will see snipers and fusion rifles and shotguns in the secondary slot again, if only through like exotic weapons that are loopholes so you can use those guns there.
Yeah, maybe. And like I said, this is all speculation. We may play the beta maybe come July and be like, oh, this is perfect somehow.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you and me are both concerned about this. Savage, do you have any thoughts?
Huh? I've been sleeping.
No, that's okay. Leo does that all the time during the anime cast.
You have no idea.
No, I mean, I think it'll definitely change the way you play games. I'm curious to play test it. I try with Bungie games. I try not to pass judgment until I've played it.
Have you pre-ordered?
I have not.
I haven't yet either, actually. I will, though. And
yeah, pre-order gets you access
digital.
to the beta.
Yeah, I would recommend
I will pre-order digital, and I will download it at midnight so I can play it the day of.
Definitely. That is what I'll be doing, too. Let's move on a little bit. We've had...
September 8th is a Friday, just so you know.
Oh, God. That is going to be a hell of a weekend. Holy shit.
Yeah, that weekend's going to be ridiculous.
So abilities, there's been some changes there. Guardians will still have grenades, melee abilities, and supers like they did in Destiny 1, but they also have an added ability, class ability. In the reveal, we saw like the new Warlock class, which is called Dawnblade, has one that like where they create like a like little pool of light that you can stand in and it heals you. It's kind of like a little bit like the Word of Dawn or the Blessing of Dawn without a bubble. So it just heals you as you stand in it, and your teammates can stand in it too and heal as well.
Yeah, it does either heals. You have two options, and it doesn't matter what subclass you pick, whether you're playing the Void or the Arc or the Flame classes. This ability sticks to you. So like you said, the Warlock it does an area effect for your teammates. It's a buff. You have two choices. Your first one either heals people or it gives them a weapon bonus, which is I think 20% right now. The Titans get an ability where they can throw a small wall up in front of them and they can shoot over it. And actually, did you know in Destiny 1 that actually using barriers was a thing?
Yeah, I actually was watching like a Dato Does Destiny video today where he pointed that out, and I realized, wow, like I had never noticed that because I'd never used that ability
because it wasn't advantageous.
Yeah.
So
there's
in this
no
one,
point to ever using it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you deploy this wall, you can crouch behind it, and then when you aim, you peek up and over, and you can shoot with you're using a small wall. But then when you unaim, you immediately duck down, and your ammo clip immediately reloads. Yeah. So that's awesome for PvE. And that's what a lot of things you'll see is that these abilities are PvE and PvP. And the second one is you erect a barrier that is super large, which can like totally seal off entrances to areas. And that's totally PvE. If you saw the latest new multiplayer countdown is what they're calling it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sealing off total areas are a huge deal. So that's awesome. That's two classes. Do you want to grab the Hunter?
Yeah, Hunter's ability is basically bringing back Shade Step, but I think there's two versions of it. One is called like the Gambler's Shade Step. It's not called Shade Step, it's like Gambler's something, where if you Shade Step close to like enemies, you get more melee energy. And there's another one where if you Shade Step, I think it reloads your weapon. So that's pretty cool too. We've got some new subclasses for Warlock. We mentioned the Dawnblade, which is a new solar Warlock class. Your super is basically a sword, which has like a plunging attack and also ranged attacks where like you fire.
And it has a melee attack too.
Oh yeah, it has a melee, and then like the ranged where you like throw like flaming like sword energy out at your enemies.
And I'll say I have a problem with all the classes being so diverse, but I'll wait till we get to the end of this.
Okay. Hunter, we've got Arc Strider that they mentioned, which is sort of replacing the Blade Dancer, except it's very similar.
It's the exact same thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, instead of just having two knives and going around, you have a like huge energy staff that you just, well, a lot of people are calling like pole dancer class.
I was going to say they already nicknamed it the pole dancer.
But it's pretty cool. Like, you're pretty acrobatic. You do like flips and all this bullshit, and it looks just as annoying as Blade Dancer was. And then with Titan class, we have a new Sentinel, which is the Void Titan, which basically is a ripoff of Captain America.
Complete. It's completely Captain America.
Yeah, and it's like
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and so you can throw like a purple energy shield, and it can bounce off multiple enemies, and it comes back to you like a boomerang or like Captain America's shield magnetically or whatever. And yeah, it looks pretty sweet. We also saw like the Titan Striker class, which is still around, but the Fist of Havoc has been renamed Fists plural of Havoc. And it's now a roaming super where you can slam it multiple times and also do shoulder charges with it that kill.
I think the slam won't outright kill a group of people, but the shoulder charge will.
Okay. That might be the best way to balance it, because it looks super OP, just like looking at like having a Titan have multiple slams. So yeah, they would have to balance that a little bit, because if you can just like kill 5 people with one slam and then you could slam again after that, like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds I haven't seen gameplay exactly that's like that, but like you just said, I hope to God slam doesn't just like, if anything, it makes it super easy for your teammates with an SMG across the map to just like one bullet shot them at least, or something.
Yeah,
something like that, you know.
Yeah, in general, all of these supers seem really potent. I don't know.
There was also a Hunter,
the Gunslinger,
change to the Gunslinger. Yes.
Oh God. So Gunslinger has been my favorite class all throughout Destiny 1, and they've made so many interesting changes to it in Destiny 2. One of the things we haven't mentioned yet is that if you look at your like level tree and your skill tree in Destiny 2, it's a lot different. Instead of like these big columns that you can choose exactly what you want in each column of the like skill tree, it's like this big, it's like a smaller web now. And it also has 2 groups of 4 abilities, and you can only choose one of those groups at a time.
Yep.
So it's basically saying, it's giving you these setups basically where you can't customize as much as you could before, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it also is saying like, okay, this group of 4 abilities is built for this purpose, and this is why you would use it. So
one is almost always PvE, the other one's obviously PvP.
Pretty much. And like, so the Hunter Gunslinger perks, a lot of them focus on precision, which is so cool to me. And one of the main knocks about Gunslingers in Destiny 1 is that they weren't good supporting classes for the rest of your teammates, because you didn't create a lot of orbs unless you had the right armor on. And so other teammates weren't building up supers from them. So they've made some slight tweaks, like some little ones that I think are going to be really great.
Yeah, it's one of the node trees, right?
Yeah. Both of the node trees have different perks that are good. One of them has one where from precision shots with your Gunslinger super, you drop orbs each time you hit a precision shot. And that also means that you can hit precision shots with your super now, which you could not in Destiny 1. So that's awesome right off the bat. The other node tree, there's a Chain of Woe perk, which was around in Destiny 1, but they've slightly altered it to where if you hit precision shots with Chain of Woe, not only does your reload speed get faster, your teammates' reload speed gets faster. So that's awesome. I love the idea of that perk. I hope it actually works properly because that sounds so cool to me. It just means that, like, as long as if I'm doing the precision damage, is what I like to do in Destiny, just pop people's heads constantly, do tons of precision damage, and that actually helps my teammates out. That's so awesome because, like, it
chaining
should.
supers is super important.
Yeah.
I would like to say I saw a quick clip of a hunter using Golden Gun, and when a Titan Sentinel was using his, becoming invincible thing, got taken out. I don't know if I agree with this.
Huh.
I feel like it's just a clip, so this may be exactly what happened, but I feel like if a Golden Gun shoots a Titan in PvP with their shield up, that whatever it costs the hunter to spend on his super to shoot that gun, it also takes away from the Titan's super.
That would be
Otherwise,
more balanced for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's equal.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, like, it's early. Clearly, they're going to be balancing this stuff. It's one thing we learned in Destiny is that Bungie is not afraid to keep rebalancing and drastically changing the meta. So I'm sure we'll see a ton of that over the next couple years.
Did we cover all of them?
Wait, sorry.
Yeah, that was
what
Hunter.
you said.
Hunter was last. Right. Yeah.
Savage had mentioned that he wanted to say which character class we plan to go with when we start Destiny 2.
So that should be interesting because in Destiny 1, Leo was a Titan.
Mm-hmm.
And you and me were both hunters, BCom.
Yeah.
But I think collectively, the three of us, as obviously being the three main people on here, need to each go a separate one. So it's I'm assuming, Leo, you're going to still go Titan.
Oh, for sure. I'm still staying Titan. And
So
I will
BCom.
still make Warlock my secondary. And if I think Hunter's good, then maybe I'll make a Hunter for the first time ever.
I can't believe you. God, I can't believe you had two Titans and a Warlock through like all of Destiny 1.
All
Makes
3
me so
years.
So
Yeah, mine.
I'll leave it up to you, BCom.
So first of all, I will say that I am definitely going to run 3 characters this time around from the beginning.
Yep, I will too.
Because I want to experience all of these different classes. I remember in the beginning playing Destiny Year 1, like I tried out all the classes for like a month or so. And then I settled on the Hunter because I just liked their jumping so much. I liked their mobility and their focus on precision. And the changes that they've made to Hunter Gunslinger, which was my previous favorite class, make me like it so much more even than I liked it before, that I'm going to be playing more Hunter Gunslinger as probably my main class. I know that's boring.
Then
I've been playing it for 3 years.
No, that solves it. I'm going Warlock then.
And I'm excited to see the other 2 Warlock classes. I think we've probably had them mentioned, but I haven't seen too much info.
I have always liked the concept of a Warlock better, but I couldn't get past the jump in the first one.
The jump is rough. A lot of people are saying the jump is way better now.
Oh, really?
It's supposed to be floaty, and it is. And the new subclass takes advantage of it being floaty by throwing all those crazy shuriken sword fire things.
Yeah, I think there's also a perk for the Dawnblade Warlock where you can throw grenades and fire your gun in midair as you're floating on your jump, which you couldn't do before.
Somebody has something about air time.
Yeah.
Like the longer you're in the air, the more damage you can do.
Oh, well, there's one perk for that for the Titan Striker, where the longer you're in the air, the more damage your super does, which I hope that like you can jump from like a ridiculous height in some boss and just do a ton of damage to him. Like, that would be so awesome.
Or in PvP, actually make the slam kill everybody.
Oh, yeah. That would be really cool. I want to see, like, if there's a limit to how much damage it can do, or if you can just jump from, like, a crazy height. I just want to see how people, like, abuse that if they can. But yeah, I think I'll be playing a lot of Hunter and probably a lot of Dawnblade to start out because Titans are the worst.
Titans are the best.
Titans are the most generic
Yep.
like character of all time.
Absolutely.
Anyways, let's talk about light and stats. The light system seems to appear to be exactly the same. You have ghosts, artifacts, still making comeback. But as an interesting point, intellect, discipline, and strength is totally gone, so that means everybody's super procs at the same time. Is what I'm understanding from it all.
Oh, for some reason I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I guess supers will build at the same rate unless you have perks that, like the Hunter Gunslinger, if you hit precision shots, there's a perk where you can build your super faster. And of course, there's always been guns in Destiny that allowed you to build super energy faster. But yeah, you can't now build towards that. That's interesting.
Correct.
Unless, like you're about to say, like they're replaced by armor, agility, and recovery stats. Unless the recovery stat also affects your super buildup. That could be a thing.
That's a possibility. And also there's like things like the exotic obsidian mine for the warlock, where kills make your super regen faster. So there may still be things like that. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have all this tier 12 BS that we had in Destiny 1 now, which I would think is a good thing. But I'm sure there'll be builds for getting the maximum armor, agility, and recovery. I'm sure it'll be just a similar min-maxing there. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, and then just on that screen, it also showed some currencies at the top of the screen. Glimmer is back as your like little currency that you spend stuff on, or buy stuff with. Sorry, and then some currency called purple shards, which
it's strange dust.
Oh, is that what it's actually called? Strange dust.
Yeah, it is actually called strange dust, which is a purple shard that looks just like the green shards from Destiny 1. I'm forgetting the name of because I'm stupid.
You think this is replacing legendary marks?
I feel like, well, there's so many currencies in Destiny 1. I don't see them doing away with them.
Yeah.
So they're just showing us the two main ones for the most part.
Yeah, I mean the build that they had at the launch was like kind of locked to that like one menu. You couldn't see as like anything about like your quests or anything else. Like, so there's a lot of stuff we still don't know. And like the rest of your inventory, I hope they're doing major work to the way inventory works and the way that your vault works. Or if maybe you won't even have a vault. We'll see. That'll be interesting to find out.
Nah, we'll still have a vault. Somebody else earlier asked me, you're like, the reef's still there. Why did our vault get lost? But
that's a good point.
Yeah, but anyways, in the Destiny 2, there's only one public space they're trying to talk about because they don't want multiple spaces. They don't want to divide the community like they did before.
At least not at first. I mean, maybe they'll add more later.
We'll see.
So
how about activities?
Let's talk about activities. Yeah, at launch there will be one raid, which I think is disappointing to some people, but I really don't care. Like, I like that the whole community focuses on one raid at a time, and then they keep bringing out new raids every like few months.
Oh, I do too. Heavily, yes.
I don't, because I don't want to be like, especially at launch, I don't want to be running 2 raids a week. Like, that would just be a tremendous waste of my time. It just sounds like a nightmare to me. So
I just don't have the time for that.
Yeah, I don't have time for that either. So, like, yeah, one raid is fine. Anybody who's complaining about not having multiple raids probably doesn't understand how Destiny works. So I'm happy that we'll all focus on one new raid. We'll have strikes. I don't think they said anything about how many strikes we'll have. We'll still have Nightfalls, which will have a normal and heroic mode. And to enter the Nightfall, you will need a currency or like an item called a Nightfall Pass. which is interesting. I wonder how you'll get those passes and why there's a limited number of them. Maybe the Nightfall is going to be granting really good items this time around.
Even if it's a limited number, we don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Public events are back. They now appear on a map, which you can access while you're on the planet. Previously in Destiny, you could only look at a map when you were in orbit, looking at the planet and seeing where you were going. And it wasn't a very detailed map. You kind of just had to keep the landscape of each of the places that you were going to in your head at all times to get around. So they're adding now an in-game map with like markers for public events, and they will tell you what time the public event is actually going to occur, and you can go there and it'll occur. That's pretty cool. I mean, we had this whole thing in Destiny 1 where we had like apps and like destinypublicevents.com to find out when public events might occur.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say we knew the exact times they occurred from an app, and like, why would you put this in the game? Otherwise, we're just going to look at the app regardless. So that's stupid.
They also talked about adventures or smaller side quests, shorter missions that have self-contained stories for players to learn more about the lore of the Destiny 2 universe and like the side characters that live there. Those sound awesome to me. I think that's going to be a great way to have like some of those like quests that popped up in Destiny 1 that were kind of secret. But this will be an interesting way to uncover more about Destiny and to tell little small stories that aren't part of the big narrative, but like tell you like little things that are interesting. And they also said something about lost sectors, which are scattered enemy dungeons throughout the world, where you can discover unique boss enemies guarding treasures and stuff, which that sounds freaking cool, like little treasure hunts inside of Destiny.
I'm wondering if this is going to be like randomized, because there's weapon mods, if you saw on some of the weapons.
Yeah, we forgot to mention
and like that would be a good reward for doing these.
Yeah, like a blueprint for a weapon mod, or just like a weapon mod that you can put on, you know, one of your exotic weapons. You find it in a treasure hunt. That would be super cool.
Yeah, unlike now, which is like there's no point in exploring. So
yeah,
why?
Yeah, the exploring was its own reward basically in Destiny 1, just finding cool places, and there'll be a lot more to do when you're just patrolling around. And I think it's best to just mention it now. One of the biggest quality of life changes to Destiny is that you now never have to go to orbit, ever.
Oh my god!
You can
I made the note earlier about how many hours we actually spent in orbit.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. You now, like in Destiny 1, you had to go back to orbit all of the time to pick your next destination. Now you can open up what's called the Director, which is going to be like a menu in your system on any planet.
You literally hit start and just go to your Director.
Exactly. Just choose your next quest location or choose your next planet to go to. Yeah. It's great. But
one of the first parts is the European Dead Zone. It's the largest destination yet featured in a lush forest, abandoned town. It's not an abandoned town. It's a refound town by I watched her earlier. I forgot her name, but she has a cool hawk on her shoulder. So, hooray for her!
Oh yeah,
yeah. But there is also a cave system below surface and a Red Legion military base to explore and contest with. And this is supposed to be our main social hub also.
Yeah, I think there's an area called the farm
divide us.
Or something like
farm.
That. Or the, I think I saw a map that called it the Guardian Camp.
Yeah. I keep seeing the farm.
So yeah, I've seen both. And one of the cool things that I saw about the farm is that it has a soccer ball, and there are now nets and a field, so you can play soccer in Destiny 2. That sounds awesome. I'm so excited.
And when you do it, like rockets shoot off when you make a goal and stuff like that. But one of the other planets is called Titan, which is ironically
yes,
Zavala is there, and he's a Titan.
You can bank on there being jokes about Zavala the Titan being on Titan in this game.
If not him, then Cade 6 will make the jokes.
Yeah, for sure.
I will. Yeah, I definitely see that. Another one is Nessa. And actually, all these places aren't actually planets. 2 of them are moons. One of them is a... How do I describe it? It's a Vex world.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Are you talking about Nessus, at least? Or is it...
Io.
Io, yeah. Well, Io is also a moon of Jupiter. Nessus is like a planetoid or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the one that's made by the Vex that Kate 6 is caught up in. Yep. Who will definitely make jokes about a Titan being on Titan.
Yeah. And then, the Warlock Ikora Ray is going to be on Io. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Hunter-specific missions that are on Nessus. The same with Titan missions on Titan, Warlock missions on Io. But I hope we go to all 3 places. And
I feel like they're mostly going to just be part of the storyline, really.
It could be, yeah, for everybody. But, I mean, there were Hunter-specific missions in Destiny and Warlock and Titan-specific missions where you get your subclasses and stuff like that. I'm sure it'll take place on those planets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you look at the the sort of galactic map, there's also a lot of room for more locations.
Yeah, it's the same with the last one. It looks like the background's the same, but there's still all that room left.
Yeah, so I could see us going back to Mars, Venus, Mercury, the moon. So in the future, we'll see.
So one of my big favorite things is clans are actually going to become important and part of the game, because before all they gave you was a name
and technically an achievement if you could get your clan to flawlessly raid together or raid and beat a raid.
Yeah, which I was fortunate enough to do during year 1, but but it's such a big deal because they're also giving out rewards for doing things. But they haven't said what it is yet, but it's probably like completing so many strikes and completing a raid, or and even if you don't do these things but you're part of the raid, you still get the rewards. So they're saying so far.
Yeah, I just love the idea of being in the same clan as Kyle when he spends like 3,000 hours doing stuff and I reap the benefits. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes, exactly. That's a perfect example. You're like, oh, this guy completed 3,000 hours. Everybody gets a legendary rocket launcher that's a god roll. And we're like, woo! We're like, thank you, Kyle. You're the best.
Another thing is clans will be also able to create their own custom banners, which is pretty dope. And you have like your clan name, and then you have like a lot of room for like a clan motto, or like you can write like several paragraphs about like what you want your clan to be. And there will be different seasons for your clan that will reset like experience and progress. So if like I assume like when a new expansion comes out, it'll reset the clan season and you'll have to rebuild your experience and progress up again. So that encourages clans to remain active over time, basically. And what was I was gonna say? So like the way this plays into things is there's another thing they're adding called guided games. One of the biggest problems with Destiny is that raids and nightfalls and Trial of Osiris, which is like ultra competitive elimination mode of Crucible.
Oh yeah.
They were limited to fire teams that you matchmade yourself. You couldn't just matchmake into them like randomly. You had to come with a group of 6 people for a raid, or a group of 3 people for Trials of Osiris, or 3 people for Nightfalls. You couldn't matchmake because Bungie felt that the content was too complicated and difficult to just put random people in a room together and not have them end up screaming obscenities at each other. So
I feel like they were partially right about that. Have been insane, but now that we have a community that it makes sense in Destiny 2.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
I think it makes a lot of sense. And the way that they're doing it basically is that you will have the option when you go into a nightfall or a raid to choose to be like a guide, or like to matchmake for guiding, where like say you have like 4 members of your clan and you want to go do a raid right now, but you need 2 more people. You can set up a match where you're guiding basically 2 other players. They can matchmake as seekers, and be match made with a clan that is already ready to go. And so you can hook up with each other, and hopefully they'll have a mic to communicate with. I still foresee a lot of looking for group like outside. I don't think Destiny LFG.net is going to stop being a thing, or Reddit's like our fire teams. Like I think those will still exist, but I like that Bungie is making an attempt, like especially for just Nightfalls. I would love to just be able to matchmake with two people who are serious about what they want to do, and just play a Nightfall.
And then spend 20 minutes just to beat it real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, Leo, but there's some better Destiny players out there than us. Like, there's some extremely good Destiny players. Like, there's been times where I've played raids through LFG.net and been like just not had to do a thing because the people were so good at the raid.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, Kyle said he needed to do a raid and he was doing it for his daughter's account, which was like way under leveled. It wasn't under leveled. It was correctly leveled, but she didn't have good weapons, so that he couldn't do really good. But and then like he joined and he's like, they were like, hey, just sit back, don't do anything, we'll take it the whole thing, and they literally just dragged him through the entire raids. Yeah. And then one of the things is that when you're being match made, I think it presents you with options to pick. I think that's at least what they kind of showcased, in that you see like the name of the clan that you're being match made with, and like their little spiel about like who they are. Like, so you can see. Yeah, everybody gets a motto.
Yeah, and you can see if like it's if they're like they're in the presentation they had like "we crush noobs," and they were like, okay, let's not join that. Like, let's not join with that clan. Like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of clans that'll say like specifically like, know what you're doing and no squeakers. Like, I'm sure that's going to be a motto for a bunch of clans.
Or everybody has to have dubious folly or something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see that, and then I will turn those assholes down. And I just want to see people who are like, hey, we're chill, have a mic, and let's have some fun. Like, that would be a great motto. That's all I really want to see.
I agree, totally. But there's also some other big changes with the Crucible.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, the Crucible game modes are now all 4v4. There's none of the 6v6 or 3v3. It's all 4v4, so that means Trials of Osiris is 4v4, which was mainly 3v3. So that's pretty crazy. The newest game mod is Countdown, which is basically one team plants a bomb, they defend it, and then reverse matches.
It's basically Counter-Strike, like Go. Yeah, it's that game mode, basically. Or Search and Destroy from Call of Duty, if you're more familiar with that.
Yeah, which makes me think about the Titan, where they throw up the wall, where they can literally throw the wall up in one of the rooms and block off one exit, so everybody has to come through the other two.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a big deal for me, especially even with the Warlock throwing in like a healing in the middle and everybody shooting from the middle. That's pretty cool, unless they're hitting you with a rocket launcher. Who knows?
There's going to be a lot of chances for good teamwork in those modes.
But one of the newest things is the PC version.
Yeah, so I'll talk about this. So, first biggest piece of news is that it's going to be in PC at all. Destiny 1 wasn't on PC. Secondly, they came out and dropped the bombshell that is going to exclusively run through Blizzard's BNet, or formerly Battle.net, which is really interesting. So when you go into your Blizzard launcher, you're going to see StarCraft, you're going to see Diablo, Overwatch, and then you're going to see Destiny 2. I know that there's a lot of Blizzard people who are like, this is a little weird. It feels like we're kind of getting invaded by a game that's not a Blizzard game. But look, Blizzard's owned by Activision and Bungie's owned by Activision. And I think they're sick and tired of Steam dominating the PC marketplace.
This is going to be a big and entirely different thing.
I agree.
I mean, I have no predictions for this. This could go anywhere.
I do predict there will be like some fun cross promotion stuff between other Blizzard games and Destiny 2, which I think will be really cool. I'm just excited. I think it's going to be great. I think Blizzard has a good reputation for banning cheaters on their servers, just like hardware banning the shit out of them. So I think that will limit some cheating on the PC side for Destiny, which is great. I do think the fact that Destiny is going to be on PC is going to allow people to data mine the crap out of it. I think that may be one of the reasons that Destiny is actually potentially going to come out later on PC than
that
September
makes
8th.
sense, actually.
Yeah.
But then again, whenever Destiny community has been really big on data mining in the first place.
Yeah.
But even when like DLCs come out, it may be bigger.
Yeah, and I kind of feel bad for PC people because when they eventually get the game, like they will already know about like every secret in the raid and every secret in patrol. Already have been made like a million YouTube videos about it. But I don't feel that bad because PC is going to support 60 FPS and 4K, actually uncapped frame rate.
Bastards.
Yeah, from people who went to the live event and played it on PC at 4K and 60 FPS, they all said it looked unbelievably good. And I believe
they also said that just also going from the console to straight to the PC was probably part of it.
Yeah, that's
true. Look, now we played all of Destiny 1 on 30 frames per second. So if you're not bothered by it, then you're not going to be bothered by Destiny 2. There's no reason to go out and buy a $2,000 computer just to play Destiny 2 at 4K.
But if you have a $2,000 computer, it could be fun.
That's the thing I do, but I'm not, because I'm going to play an Xbox. That's where my whole entire clan
And
is.
to that point, I guess we should have included it in news, but it's good that we bring it up now. There's been some people that have said it's like frame gate or whatever is what they're calling it, where because PlayStation has the exclusive rights to a lot of Destiny content, because the PS4 Pro maybe can't run it at 60 frames a second, they're limiting it on Scorpio.
I was getting ready to say, I heard a little bit rumors they're hoping Scorpio will be able to play it at 4K, 60 frames per second at least.
So what Bungie has said about this, specifically for PS4, but it also is going to apply to Scorpio, is that the reason they can't run it at 60 FPS on PS4 Pro is because of the processor being too weak. It's not because of the graphical capability. They have enough firepower there, or horsepower, or whatever. And the same with Scorpio. They have enough horsepower graphically to do more 4K stuff, but it's just the processor. And with the PS4 Pro, you have a 2.1 gigahertz Jaguar, like 8-core processor. And they just say that they don't have enough horsepower with that to run all of like the networking and all the other stuff that's going on calculation-wise to run it at 60 FPS. And when you look at the Scorpio, it only has a 2.3 gigahertz 8-core Jaguar processor. It's almost the same as the PS4 Pro. So you can probably see an equal reason there for not having it 60 FPS. I think it's disappointing. Like, I would love for them to focus more on the frame rate than the graphics, because I just think console shooters at 60 FPS just play and look better. But it looks like they just have so much going on, they claim, calculation-wise, processor-wise, that only a high-end PC is going to be able to play it at that frame rate.
I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time, because the processor is one of the most expensive parts of a PC build.
Mm-hmm.
But
definitely,
even so, I feel like your processor should be the best out of everything in your system, is how I build my PCs.
Yeah, it's very
important. So to see that I have an undermined processor in a better graphics card just like blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I see games like Battlefield 1 on PS4 Pro and Xbox One S. I think that both run at 60 FPS, and I feel like Destiny might be able to do this, but Bungie is claiming that they just have too much stuff going on the CPU side that they just can't do it at 60 FPS. And there is a lot going on when you're playing Destiny, so I kind of believe them. It's disappointing though, for sure.
I would say if you give me the version that's $300 or more, which would be the better processor, I would buy it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the next PlayStation, whatever comes after PS4 Pro, looks like. Maybe that'll have a next generation processor that'll make it possible. I mean, Destiny 2 is going to be around probably for 3 years, maybe 2 years, but probably 3. We'll see. And maybe by the time the end of that cycle, we'll have a 60 FPS console Destiny, but I'm not sure. It might be Destiny 3 before we really see that.
Oh, it has to. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Next generation excluding Scorpio I feel like Scorpio should be 60 frames per second, but if they're not, the next generation has to be. If not, then we are just going in the wrong direction of how we evolve game systems.
I totally agree. So I mean, in the best of both worlds situation, you would be able to buy it on a console and on PC and have cross save back and forth. And there was a lot of rumors flying around about that, but Bungie confirmed there is no cross-platform save from either PS4 or Xbox One to PC.
Yeah, which is funny because there was a huge rumor of PS4 and PC, which doesn't make any sense. It would be Xbox and PC because that's the same company, Microsoft.
You would think that they would easily go back and forth. I honestly think the main reason that this is not happening is because of PS4's early access content deal. Because if you have all of your new strike on PS4 and like new weapons that aren't on the other platforms, you can't sync back and forth between PC with PS4 or Xbox because you have different content in each of the 3 places.
You'd be literally licensing to Microsoft, who owns PC and Xbox.
Exactly.
So there's no way they could license to just PC and PlayStation. That would be really weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. So unfortunately, we don't have parity between the 3. I would love to live in a world where I could just play all I want on Xbox with my friends there and then go right to PC and have my same characters. Oh, it'd be so great.
Or even the PS4, because you and me have a guy who play on PS4 who will never go to Xbox for us. So
yeah, I think they underestimate how many extra copies of this game they would sell if you could just freely move between systems.
I would honestly end up buying guaranteed at least 2 Xbox and PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
If I had 3 other people who played only on PC, I would move also.
That would be it would be so great. Or if we just had cross-system multiplayer one day, but that day does not.
That'll never happen.
Yeah.
No, that defeats the purpose of having multiple systems. So,
those are dreams.
Do you guys have any other final thoughts you'd like to throw in?
Just that I loved the whole reveal. I think that Bungie is really in touch with their fan base. I just didn't feel awkward or cringy at any point, except maybe when the Activision guy was on stage. But I cringe every time.
That was you and everybody else, because everybody's like, Activision.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to this game. They made so many changes that I've been wanting to see. And I'm sure they'll end up making even more changes that'll make the game better as it goes forward.
Oh, it's nice to know. What about you, Savage?
I'm hungry.
Me too.
Because this is our longest podcast that we have had for this specific podcast.
Destiny 2 is amazing. So anyways, everybody, thanks. That's it for this week. Please subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter for podcast updates. Subscribe to